What is your first name?
Miley Curtis. Oh, Miley.
Miley. Your mom's
Misaki.
Misaki. Okay, so you want a slit, and this is kind of like A-line. Yeah, it's a slight A-line. I wouldn't call this a pencil skirt or mermaid, and there's no slit, but you want a slit, and this was a bias cut too. It wasn't like horizontal or vertical. So what we're gonna do is it's doable. So it's really, like for me, I'm used to doing this, so I could just cut it. But you could safety pin it because it's also lined right here. Okay, so there's 2 layers. So what I do is I pin it together so it doesn't move. It's really important. And then pull or tug a little bit, and you could kind of see the grain, where the grain line wants to go.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really think about it, but that's how you do it. And then you cut, and don't move. Don't look down. And take a really good synthetic scissor, and then just cut. And then tell me where you want it to stop.
Like there.
Right there?
Maybe a little bit more.
Or like an inch more?
Yeah.
And this is our goal, but you don't want to cut it because when we stitch, it will take up another 1/4 of an inch. So it's important not to cut too much. It's always better to cut less and cut more later as you need it. And then now stick your leg. What do you think? Is that the way you visualize?
Yeah, could I go a little higher maybe?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's why I have the pin there. And then we're going to go up and see how it's nice and straight. And then we're also going to take a 1/4 of an inch on both sides. And then I'll show you how to stitch it too. I'm going to go one more. Okay, open up.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Thank you.
And not more, right?
No, that's perfect. Thank you. Because you said it'll be like a 1/4
so
more
by
of an
the
inch.
time I stitch it, it's going to go up to about a 1/4 of an inch. So I wouldn't do more. Okay? Okay, and then I will show you how to sew this, and then we'll see the final product later, but there's also lining here too. Okay, and this one we're going to do a roll-up straight stitch. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to come to the serger machine, and like the earlier part, I pinned everything, so we're doing the slit, and so we're going to undo the safety pins, and I will link the video on changing the thread because we need to make sure we get the closest matching color, and so this is already done to save time. And then we're going to unpin because there's also a line underneath. A smaller safety pin. This is more delicate. So what we're going to do is I cut. So now it's really sharp like this, but you want it curved so that it doesn't rip further. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to serge. I'm going to make sure that's there. And as you serge, you just want to make the little sharp edges that you cut, just sew it right through so that it's nice and even, smooth. Okay. And it's really important at this corner how to do this. Okay, so now what do you do? See, it's sharp like that, right? And you're going to have a curve. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a little, don't rush this because you don't want to cut more than what you need to. And so you're going to hold it with your right hand one side and the left with your index finger, point to the corner, and you're going to slowly serge this. And as you do this, you're going to move your hand and lift the petal here. Okay, lift it. And then as you lift, come over here and then move. As you lift, move your hands and then go back to the petal, and then you're gonna, do you see what I'm doing? Serge, like that. Do you see what I'm doing with my left hand? It's important. See, and now you get this little curve, because if you don't do it right, you're gonna go too far. And then serge it all the way to the edge. And keep an eye on it so you don't cut too much. Okay. And then we're also going to do the lining, so we'll do it again. So we'll do this again. So I'll put it underneath. And the lining is a little bit more thinner and slippery. So let's do the same thing. Serge. Serge. And then you come over here like this. Take this pedal, lift the foot and readjust. And then watch my fingers, put it down. So that it's nice and curved like that. See? No folds. And then I'll show you how to sew. After this, I'll show you how to do a straight stitch. Okay. Just like that. Now we're going to go to my straight stitch machine, and okay, so now we're gonna do a straight stitch. Make sure you have the matching thread to match the dress, and then make sure the tension is even. I think this one could be tighter. Put it around 3, and always do the lining first. And we serged. See, first we clipped it, and now it's kind of curved. When it's curved, then it's less chance that you will rip it. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is pull this thread like a 1/2 inch and cut it, and then you're gonna fold it and then stitch it like this, or put it down. Well, sometimes you could start from at the end like this, but if you're beginning, you could start like 1 inch above, and then you could flip it and sew. But if you know how to sew, then you could start from here and back stitch here. You don't have to, but you could do back stitch because it's lining, just so that it doesn't fray. And then you're going to hold with your left hand, right hand, like this. And you want to stitch it consistently. So I'm doing about 3/8 of an inch width. Okay, and then make sure the back looks good. Good. See how pretty that is? That. Then go up. And then when we come to this curve, this is really tricky, so kind of watch. So then we're going to make it, narrow it down to, so now 3/8, and we're going to narrow it down to about 1/4 of an inch gradually. And then again here, when you get to the point, you're going to lift the pedal or the foot, okay? And then you're going to change. Switch and put the foot down. And then put the needle down, and then lift the pedal until you're comfortable, because you're turning around. and then go back to 3/8 of an inch. See, that's how you want the corner to be. Okay, now we're gonna go further. Yeah, so then you're gonna finish it off at 3.5, or I'm sorry, 3/8 of an inch. This 1/2 inch, and then put the thread, left excess thread underneath, and sew it right through, and then make the stitches smaller here, and then stitch, and you don't have to go back so it doesn't fray. Okay, so we're done with the lining, and now we're going to do the satin part, the top layer, and we're going to do the same thing. Just cut 1/2 inch, and then put the thread under, fold it 3/8 of an inch, and here really tight stitch, or you could do back stitch, go to about 3 length, and then start sewing 3/8 of an inch. Just make sure all the thread colors match and the tension. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? Clip it. Then when we come to the point, the highest point of the slit, we're gonna prepare to sew it narrower from 3/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and maybe to 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so gonna watch me. It's getting smaller, and then when you get to the point, you're gonna stop, put the needle down, and then you're gonna lift the foot. So, did I get it all the way down? And then lift the foot to release the pressure. And then check, see? The corner looks good, so it doesn't fray. Here, you could tell that the thread is bigger than, stretched out a little bit. So then what you want to do is you grab the bottom of the hem, because you don't want the seam, the seams to stick out. So you want to hold it down. And then come here, lower the stitches, and pull. Okay, take the thread, oops, and there it is. Now let's go to the ironing board. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to press the area that we stitched on, this where the slit is, and you're going to flatten it down, this. And this is where you could use a paper towel, but if you're sewing the lining part of it or inside of the fabric, you're good. Okay. That. If you notice, I didn't like stretch to side, just steamed it down. Okay. So you don't want to stretch. Okay. So this one you just want to like steam it down. Steam it down. Okay, backwards. Come over here. Same thing. So again, we don't want any more stretch, so steam it down. Okay, and now we're going to do the lining. Push it, flatten the area down gently like that. And then steam it. Okay. Okay. And then let's see what it looks like. Then we hang it. And look at that. I think let's steam it a little bit more so you could actually, there's some wrinkles, so it's hard to see. So let me put it over the actual ironing board like this so you could actually see. With the wrinkle, you can't really see. And then this is when we need a paper towel. Because this is a synthetic fabric, so we don't want it to get too hot and melts the fabric. So here I think you could actually move it around, but when you're doing the first one you don't want to stretch. See how pretty that is? See how pretty that is? And then maybe we do a little bit more here. Okay. We're gonna hang it, and look at that. We have a slit, and then we'll do the lining too. So when you see how nice and flat the top is, but if the underneath it's a lining, and when it kind of wrinkles like this, what you could do is flatten this and iron it. And this is one time where you could stretch by using the steam. And as you steam it, just stretch a little. Because at first I told you not to do it, but sometimes they don't hang right. See? Because do you see the difference between here and then on this side? See how it kind of wrinkles? You don't want that. You want it to be flat. So when that happens, just stretch to make it even. And then it hangs nice and even underneath. Like that. This goes, and then when the client has this dress on, it shouldn't the lining shouldn't show. So there it is.
I'm Miley from Davis, and she added a slit in my prom dress, and it looks so good. I really like it. It's exactly what I wanted.
Thank you.